details that we're finally about to get a clear cut version of what the season's going to look like.
Possibly. There's no official plan to restart the season according to the MLBPA, though.
Yeah.
So they haven't heard anything official, but it's looking more like we're in the right direction.
Yep. Especially with Girardi coming out today, that what he's hearing. So it's like if coaches and stuff are starting to hear, it's very close. They're finalizing the details before they release anything. So it's almost certain where we're going to get baseball here within the next 2 months, because we're going to need a spring training. So, best case scenario, let's talk about it.
All right. So, like you said, though, the preferred plan would be to start play in late June or early July with as many teams as possible. So they want to play at their home parks as much as they can. They don't really like the idea of everybody staying at one spot, like at Tropicana Field or something.
Well, the first thing was the first scenario was everyone in Arizona, which I knew that was nowhere that's going to work. Then there was Arizona and Florida. I'm like, that could work. Then you heard trickling of possibly Texas getting involved. I'm like, how? I'm like, what are we talking about here? Then
Exactly.
I'm like, why are we talking about? Like, we're good with the two, Arizona and Florida. It makes perfect sense.
Right.
Spring trainings are
used
there.
to that.
Yeah. I'm like, why are we getting Texas involved? Is that going to be the neutral site for the World Series? Like, is that what you're talking about?
That could be. And I think they're trying to get a game of at least or season of at least 80 games.
100 will be good, but I'm thinking 81 makes about sense.
Man, that's tight. That is a small sample size. That's half the season.
Yes.
That's an all-star break. That is not enough games, in my opinion, man. It's really close. We're cutting it really close there.
I think it's giving us something. Pretty much is what see, with hockey and NBA, when they start up, if they want to finish their regular season, then go to playoffs, because then it messes up start of next season. If you play longer for baseball, same thing. It's going to make a shorter off season. So maybe this way it's a little bit longer, possibly, but then you can still get back to a full season next year. I think this is why they're looking at it like that.
Well, so I know we're talking about a smaller season now.
Yeah.
John Heyman, he tweeted this. He said that early July remains MLB's target for a season. Spring training would likely be 3 weeks, plus 2 weeks for those who wish to come early, with minor leagues not too likely, but not canceled at this point.
Yes.
MLB rosters are expected to be expanded, and there may be a taxi squad as well.
Makes sense.
So, man, I didn't even think about the minor leagues now. So
rumor was right before we took our little break, that was one of the things I had written down for a possible week was the rumors was they were canceling minor league. I'm like, it makes sense.
It does make sense, but
when they asked the minor league baseball commissioner or whatever, they're like, no, we haven't heard anything. So they're planning to still have a minor league season at some point.
Right.
Because what they were hearing for Florida and Arizona scenario was there was going to be a developmental league, kind of like a minor league spring training where they do still play each other and they're still working out, being ready just in case something happens.
Right, and they need to, because if anybody gets injured, you're going to have these guys in prime, ready condition, playing games, live games, not simulated games.
No.
It's not the same. So these guys got to play. They got to compete. Plus, it'd be a big blow to minor leagues if they cancel the season.
And if they cancel the season, and a lot of places, this is when you're going to know what teams are going to be lost if they shrink the minor league system, because they're not going to be financially stable. Stuff's going to happen, especially your single A parks.
Right.
They don't have, it's going to they're lost where they're like, we might have to file bankruptcy.
Well, and if they're affiliated with a professional team, those professional teams are going to have to find a place for these minor leagues to go play next season, or if they fold, So, if the Tides folded, the Orioles, where the Orioles AAA organization, where were they going to go? You know what I'm saying? This is crazy because you got to have somebody else.
They're ultimately going to have to wait for that deal to be done with MLB and minor league because the contract is up. Next year is supposed to be the new year of the deal. So if Major League does take over the minor league system, then they have to work that out and whatever. But, I think they will have minor league baseball. It might only be maybe AA, AAA. We don't know.
All right.
We'll see what happens with that.
Well, then that would also affect the guys who are getting drafted if they got to go right into a AA situation.
Or they might where they send them to Florida or in Arizona where they just work out.
Right.
And then they wait till next year.
So spring training is likely going to be 3 weeks plus 2 weeks, and we're playing in July. Well, guess what? It's May. This stuff needs to start moving now. We're talking about a whole month plus a week.
Yeah, where we're at, this deal needs to be done by the early next week.
Absolutely.
Because
things got to
about,
start getting in motion.
If people want to come in early, you're talking the last week of May. If your focus is start July 4th, we'll say. That would be opening day, July 4th, which pretty epic to start on that day. Unfortunately, there are probably no fans there on that day.
Right. But my thing is, what happens, because this seems like it's going to happen very quickly, we start getting into the spring training and MLB players start getting sick. Then we're going to really talk about this is going to have to be a canceled season. This could be a real thing.
I think this is why
is
it's taking so long, because first we're hearing, early June they wanted a couple weeks ago. Now it's early July because I think they need to come with a plan agreement where everyone has to be tested.
Right. And you can't just come in too soon and then it all fall apart. They have to be right about this.
And then this is going to be interesting because then you got to think about the teams in the hot spot, like both Yankees and Mets. Are they going to be able to play in New York?
Exactly.
Because then what happens to the visiting team? You're going to have a hotel where is MLB going to buy that hotel for the summer and be that a quarantine hotel?
No way.
That's where the team is going to be staying for visiting teams.
Maybe they can cut a deal with a chain for all their MLB teams during the games of the season, but I don't know, man. That seems unlikely.
Yeah.
Very unlikely.
Or unfortunately,
they're not in
is Yankees and Mets going to have to relocate for the season?
Possibly.
Maybe that's what's taking so long.
But if they have to relocate, then that's an unfair advantage if everybody else gets to play at their hometowns.
Exactly.
Plus, Georgia opened back up to the public, and they're all getting sick again all over. So, are the Braves going to be able to play? I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainties.
Yeah, very uncertainty to see what happens.
So let's get this scenario out there. Let's say everything is cool. Spring training goes just like they thought it would. We're looking really good to start the season in July. What does that mean for the season? Are we getting an all-star game at all? What's happening?
That's going to be a difficult decision. I don't think they will.
Are they just going to be honorable mentions at the end of the year? Like
I think they'll do like a first team, second team, maybe all-star
fan vote, something. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to believe the game without an all-star team, man.
They're probably thinking, especially now with, it's not depending on the home field advantage for the World Series no more.
No.
So it's not no big deal. So, but it's going to be a mention. Like, I think instead of being a mid-season award, it's going to be an after-season award. I can see that happening. And it'll be a combination between fan vote and then, player vote. Because if you're going to 80 games.
Well, let's talk about it. So this could be a positive for one reason, because you're not just going to get the popular guys voted into the All-Stars. If it happens at the end of the year, we could be talking about stat-based. Maybe coaches call this. Maybe the coaches get together and they vote on it, or the players vote.
I think you do a player vote and coach vote, and then the fans can make their own votes, like make maybe their own list, like a fan all-star list, and then
don't the coaches vote for like the MVPs on in like basketball or something like that, or maybe I'm thinking of college or something where the coaches vote on
they vote. I think what awards. It might be the NBA for the votes. That's for the awards, I think.
Well, either way, I'm thinking, because a lot of the players, like I remember when the season after the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, all the Cubs were starting the All-Star game. And I'm not going to say that some of them didn't deserve to be there, but not all of them were deserving of the start. Come on. So that's why I like, if this happens and they do like an end-of-the-year award ceremony where the coaches, the players, or whatever get together and decide who's the best, who should be an all-star, who played to their best ability, we might see some different names that we haven't even heard of that we know they've been crushing it, but it's not a given.
Yeah, because instead of being, first team, second team, it's all-star selection with a little asterisk or whatever, like, you would have all-star this year. But
absolutely.
But, hey, it's something. It's a little recognition, and it's probably something to do that because some have clauses in their contract to be all-star to get the extra bonus.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to have to do something where it's going to have to be a postseason award.
I'm just thinking of the smaller markets where the guys don't get as much exposure, or finally, and they've been killing it all. You're like, how did this guy get snubbed? And he makes the All-Star team. That'd be cool.
Yeah. So if we get the 81 season, it makes sense because they don't want to go past like mid-November for a World Series.
I understand it's way too cold at that time to play ball, but there are winter leagues and there are they've grown up. These guys grown up playing cold ball in the winter weathers. But if we could find some indoor facilities to make it, if we're in the playoffs, I don't know.
I think I was listening to worst case scenario. You think is Minnesota?
Okay.
If the Twins make it to the World Series, do you want to play in Minnesota because they're not in a dome no more?
But that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is, since it's already a shorter season, if you get enough teams, I'm not sure how the playoff structure is going to work, but if you get all the teams in the playoffs and it starts getting colder weather, by the time they start breaking down to about a few teams, 4 to 6 teams, you can just do a neutral site in Florida or something like that where you play.
I can see World Series being a neutral site.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, World Series plays until usually about November 1st, second latest lately. So you're only talking about 2 extra weeks.
Or if we have to extend it, I would love to see baseball on Christmas. That's just me.
Thanksgiving would be pretty cool. Instead of
that would.
Oh, which would y'all watch, the World Series or some football games?
I'd watch the World Series because it's more. It means more at this point. But still.
But with mid-November World Series,
I guess unless the Astros are in it.
and in spring training, you think is okay November, and you think games a week, and it's going to be where about mid-October season will end, and then you get about 30 days to do a playoff. So you're talking mid to late November for a World Series.
What the crazy thing is, though, is that the season to be so short that nobody, not even the veterans, are going to be taking these breaks. They're going to be playing hard every day.
And the only people that are going to lose anything out of this is going to be your pitchers. They're getting less starts.
Right. But you know what? Another thing to think about is all those other episodes where we talked about who's going to win the division, who's going to do this, that could be thrown out the window because we have half a season. Anything can happen in half a season. Detroit can make the playoffs in half a season. I don't know, man.
I think with the half a season, that's why they're hearing rumblings that we might start the expansion of the playoffs this year.
We'd almost have
teams.
to because there's not enough sample size to justify all the teams not getting in.
When I first heard it, I was like, it makes sense. Because you don't have enough games to prove yourself that you might be that team where...
Think about it. If the Mets did what they did last year when they went on that win streak, that would have been in the playoffs probably if it's half a season.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I'm not ruling out anything. Any crappy team that we're not even thinking about making the playoffs could seriously make a run and could win a World Series. If the Orioles won a World Series this year because of this season, I wouldn't be shocked. I'm just saying. It doesn't matter. It's just about getting
injuries
hot.
are going to be even more.
Oh, yeah.
If you think you're out for a 3-month, injury,
that means a
early
lot more.
season, okay, I'll come back for the second half. No.
No.
You're going to miss pretty much the whole season.
Right. Exactly. So if any players get injured, that's a wash, man. It's like you're going to really be hurting because you'll be playing for about a quarter of a season.
Especially if it's a contract year for you. Like Mookie.
But that could be an advantage to some people, though.
Yeah.
More likely an advantage to the teams because they're going to have bargaining power. But the players can also make an argument too. Small sample size. You know what I bring to the table.
Exactly.
That'd be cool. But I'm more interested in seeing. This is like the Wild Wild West out here, man. Anything can happen.
And the biggest thing is see when they give details of if it's going to happen. What's the full details is what they're going to expand the roster to.
Right.
Because like we said before is the first part of the season, you might get starters on a shorter start. Not go long. There can be more relievers, but we got the 3-batter minimum rule. Is that getting changed?
Especially closer to the playoff time. So, yeah, you're right. We'll be seeing a lot of short starts for some of these guys because their arms are still fresh. They're only pitching half a season. They're going to be out there like, I can't imagine Justin Verlander like, I want a 5-7 day break. He's like, no. I'm going to pitch this day. I'm going to pitch 2 days from today because I can do it.
And especially they start doing double headers.
Yeah.
How many pitchers are you going to get to carry now? Are you going to have 6 starters? It's going to be very interesting. And like you said, if there's a taxi, a team that follows them, God, man.
So the another thing, like I said, the short season just blows my mind, man, because there's so many possibilities, so many scenarios that I haven't even thought about in my head. But now that I'm thinking about it, it reminds me of March Madness because any team, Loyola, whoever, could beat Duke in the first round, and they're like a 16 seed. These teams are basically running for this title. They're in like a bracket, basically, because half a season, man, is nothing.
Well, when the first rumor that the other, the scenario they thought about for a season was the the East, Central, West.
Yeah, that was even crazier.
I was like 10-team divisions. I'm like, how many people are we doing playoffs?
Right.
Are we doing 4 from each division and then do bracket?
That still might not be out of it. They haven't made any decisions. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to figure this out with half a season in this given time because all these places, not everybody's open. You said like you said, New York's not open. They might not be open. We still might have to play something similar to that role.
But yeah, if they do the 3 teams, the 3 divisions, and like I was figuring like they have to do like 4. If you do 4 from each division, you're talking 12-team bracket style. No, there's no leagues. You think about 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be a blast. Best of 3, like the first round, and then a best of 5, and then you go 7 the next.
And like I said, these guys are pros, and they're all going to be fresh. So the worst team could win a series. That's all you got to do is win a series to move on and keep winning.
I just thought about this. This could be a year we might have a 400 average hitter.
Oh, easily.
Half a season?
We absolutely could. Yeah.
The home runs out of the question. No one's going to beat that record this year.
No. Pete Alonso has 1 year to be cool about. We're going to be talking about a 20...
25?
30, 25, 30, yeah.
30 would be a phenomenal season, I think, for 80 games.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Like 30. Yeah.
I feel bad because the guys that are playing this year are going to miss out on padding their stats for their end of the career kind of situation.
Yeah, especially them who are into their careers. Like this is going to fully suck if you're
you're Mike Trout and you're missing half a season because of the coronavirus. That sucks. But everybody's in the same situation. I'm just
they're all itching to play. They don't care.
When it gets back to it, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see Detroit in the World Series. I can't wait to see the Orioles make a run for the playoffs. And
God, that I can imagine.
Look, the Mets are not out of it, man. We got half a season basically. If it goes to 80 games, it's going to be nuts. So 100 games is better.
I think.
But when you play 62 more games than that, when you play 80 more games than the other one,
if I was baseball, I would go for is do 100 games. At least once or twice a week, do doubleheaders to get those 100 games in and still focus mid to late November and do a neutral site World Series.
And think of how much baseball we have to cram into our heads because it's just going to be hectic. I can't look, this is exciting. It's bad. It's a bad situation, but it's super exciting because this is unheard of.
Just imagine like we start getting baseball back and then the NBA and hockey decides to go straight to playoffs and you're talking playoffs going straight to that and then baseball starting. Sports fans would be off the hook.
You got to get back in a rhythm. DraftKings is going to be all over the place.
God.
Who knows? I haven't seen a commercial in months. That's a first because you can't turn on the TV without seeing a commercial normally.
Yeah. And then, if we're talking July, you're talking football starting up.
Yeah.
OTAs, training camp.
That's quick, man. That is quick. We're already there almost.
It's May.
Crazy. Can't wait to see Joe Burrow throw the ball, man.
We're in May. This is where NBA and hockey playoffs will be going. We'll be almost there to conference final time closely. Because you're talking the early June is usually Stanley Cup and the NBA finals.
Absolutely.
This will be second round, at least right now, and they still decided they're going to do a regular season.
They're going to have all the championships in the winter.
That's what I'm saying. At least NBA already announced they're pushing back their start of next season, which you're going to have to if you're going to do this season.
I still don't think those guys need as much rest. They could do it if they want.
It's only a month.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Everybody's going to have fresh legs is all I know.
It's going to be very interesting when we get any sport back.
Yeah. We're going to be seeing.
It's going to be interesting watching NASCAR here in 2 weeks. If no practicing, they're going to wreck.
Right. And I'm thinking of the games, like NBA or hockey or baseball, whatever it may be. It's going to go one or two ways. It's going to be a lot of scoring or no scoring. It's going to be crazy. Going to be in a super crazy rhythm or not.
Yeah. Especially that first game back. Like, here we go.
We'll see what spring training will show us if we get back into it.
The biggest thing with spring training is if they do it at their home park, are they going to travel to play games? Or is it more so 3 weeks of them training to simulation games to get ready for the start of the season? Or like, for example, Mets would play the Yankees since they're nearby.
So what I think is I can't imagine them just doing simulations. That doesn't sound very helpful to me. I think they need to play real baseball games. However, my solution to this, and I just thought of it, is that why don't you play your minor league team systems? You're still playing real games. You're playing the guys in your organization, so you don't have to really travel too crazy far out there.
That could be work.
Stay at your home. Bring your minor league system to you. Play each other.
Yeah,
that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, because you need something And I don't think the risk of traveling, especially you're talking June.
You just need to get through the rhythms. You need to see real live pitching, real scenarios, and what better way to do it than with your own organization?
Like the first week, do just a quick like you would running, working out, simulation, and then full on practice games the next 2 weeks, and then opening day.
But yeah, and like I said, most of these minor league systems are close to the home team now.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it just makes more sense to me to keep everybody at home, keep the pros, the MLB players there, and bring the minor leaguers to you guys, play each other. That's the best way, in my opinion, to do it at this point.
It makes perfect sense.
It does,
like I said, you're not risking traveling, checking all these players, the bus, whatnot. So, but yeah, so we'll see. Like I said, the next 2 weeks for sure, they have to have a deal done. This into this week, early next week is be more preferred because then they gotta get all the equipment. If they gotta start testing people, then if people want to come 2 weeks early, you're talking last week of May, right after Memorial Day, people will start showing up to start training at the facilities.
I have to expect everybody showing up 2 weeks early, unless you have like a situation where you're scared because of the COVID-19 situation. But if you're trying to play ball, you got to get it in gear now.
Yeah.
That 5 weeks isn't enough time. You need to go now and just get in a rhythm.
Yeah.
Because when the season starts, it's going to be fast. It's going to be over quicker than we thought it was going to be here. Half a season. We would have already almost been closer to June and then an all-star break already. Think about it. Now we'd be getting into the second half of the regular season if it's a short season.
Yeah. Would have been a week away from the second half.
That's what I'm saying. It's nuts.
And then when they come out details, trades. When's the trade deadline going to be now? If you're talking about half the season, you're talking about what?
That's not enough sample size to even think about a trade.
Holy shit. Man, so if you say you're going to end the regular season mid-October, end of August?
Yeah, I just don't see it, man, because if we don't start till July, you're only getting a month. You're not going to have any real...
So August 30th or something like that probably be scenario.
I don't even think they should have a trade deadline. Either they don't have a trade deadline or they just get away from the trade this year and say, look, you got to... Bring
what you got.
Yeah.
This will be interesting.
Run what you brung. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is your team. You built them. Let's see how good you are. Let's play with your team.
Or like I said, if you want to trade, you got to trade for the start of the season. So spring training trades only.
That could be beneficial.
Because then you got to think about, okay, look, if we're going to commit to this year, who we need to get.
The normal trade deadline is around All-Star break, right?
It's like a week after All-Star break.
That's what I'm saying. So you have a whole half season that you're playing before you can. I'm just saying that you have a whole half season where you can't trade.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense to make trades happen right now because if you're going to make a trade, the teams that are going to want to make a trade are going to be closer to playoffs, which is only a couple months into the season. That's not.
And now you got to think about players who haven't signed yet, like Puig.
I've heard he's got.
He said he has interested
offers.
teams. Now he's got to figure out who do you want to go to, or if they still even want him.
Yeah, because if they only have half a season to play with,
and especially where teams were getting interested, like for pitchers, like the Yankees were, they might not need it now.
Right, they might not. And you're right. Think about it. If they are going to offer Puig a contract, it's not going to be nowhere near what he thought it was going to be because you're only playing half a season.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah, like
because they're not going to sign you more than a year right now. They're going to get a year to see if you're going to be crazy. Yeah, I'm saying you're going to get signed a short contract.
Yeah,
to prove yourself.
Yeah, any unsigned free agents out there this is terrible the way it came to.
Right. The only way I see this happening for Puig, unless they already have something in the works, is if a team's making a serious playoff run and they need that addition.
Yeah, I can see that.
If it's still available, I don't know what the league's going to call or what they're going to do about these things.
Yeah, what the details come out. So pretty much he's waiting to see what happens, just like we all are.
Well, hey, man, talking about this, though, is making me excited to see what's going to happen in this short league.
Yeah, especially.
I can't wait to see.
Yeah, half a regular season.
Plus, I want to see if they change these divisions up. If they change these divisions up, this is going to be crazy.
If they change the divisions, that'd be interesting. If they keep how it is, but then they expand the playoffs. And if they do expand to the 17 playoffs, are we going to get the selection show? Like they were talking about, rumor is, where you get to pick your opponent?
I don't know about that one, but... Who knows, man? This is a different year.
Or they just go to bracket style. That'd be interesting.
I like bracket style. We could bet on that.
Just just go ahead and make it 8 and do a bracket style like that.
Well,
you'd have to make it even.
I don't know, man.
It's gonna be interesting.
I think I got. If we're doing a bracket style, With 8 teams?
8 teams from each division. Say it stays like it is. You get 8 from each league.
So we're talking 16.
Yes.
So I think the Orioles make it to the Elite 8.
Oh,
That's
man.
the kind of year we're going to have,
Dude,
man.
like once these news breaks and we break it down exactly when we get details, I can't wait. Because just the thought of certain stuff, it's just giving us goosebumps and excitement.
It really is, man. All right.